Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mnangagwa is now the chairman of SADC. I think here is a man who loves power. I think it is an understatement that he has been thrilled to bits. He feels that that has vindicated him. He rigged the 2023 elections. And the SADC election observer team condemned the process. But by becoming SADC chairperson, he feels it was worth it. And by God, he is loving it. Here is an audio of him boasting about his new position as chairperson, SADC chairman.
Iye zvino ndakapiwa masimba. Ndakapiwa simba rekutonga SADC yese. Anditi, munozviziva here kuti simba ndaanaro? Handisisiri mutungamiri wenyika ino ichete. Ndopapo ndakutaurirai kuti tinoramba tichienda mberi. Mungamwe mapato achimungashuka. Ini ndinenge ndichingoenda mberi. Ndinenge ndichitungamira ndiri kumberi kwenyu. Ini ndiri chibaba chenyu. Handiti, zvino ndave chibaba cheSADC yese. Kana kuya kwamaidzingwa kuya kuSouth Africa kwamaidzi hamuchagarako, hatichada kuonai. Ezoda kutuma mese kuti endai ikoko. Vanoda kuenda endai ikoko. Vanoda kuenda Botswana endai ikoko. Ndini ndakutonga. Saka mvumo ndakubaye kuita zvamunoda. Tamuramba mhuru. Marapatsetsetse dzese. Nyinga nunja tunja meso mukono. Dzete dzinoda kubuda munyika, budai muende munyika. Endai kwamoda, mutungamiri wenyu ndini. Ndakutonga vose. Ndikuhwa kufara.
And he means it. He is gloriously happy. What is interesting is Mnangagwa rigged last year's election. And before the year is even out, he had already launched his campaign. He wants to be in power in 2030. Hashtag 2030 Mnangagwa anenge achipo. He is already in the campaign mode. I think many people have been asking, why is he so hell-bent on retaining power at all costs? Well, here is one of the individuals who has been in power the last 44 years. And trust me, he has loved every bit of it. He has enjoyed absolute power and has become addicted to it. The prospect of giving up power is simply unthinkable to him. We've got to remember here that the last 44 years, Zanu PF, and he has been at the heart of most of that action, has done everything to make sure that Zanu PF retains power. They've cheated, they've raped, carried out intimidation, they've reduced the rural populace into literally medieval serfs so that they could control continued to exercise control over them. Committed rape, beatings, arrests, abuse of power. And in 2008, Mnangagwa was at the heart of the electoral coup that took place that year. And he boasts about it too.
2008 patakaita ma-elections pakaposa papinda Tsvangirai ndandiri election agent yapresident. Results abuda tiri party headquarters vamutasa vanga vari secretary vedu veadministration vamutasa muripi ndafona ndiri kwarusapi komogwenda kwarusapi seka results achibuda kudai vanga aiwa zvako izvo Mnangagwa ndezvako endaenda kumusha ofisi vanga vabisa zvinhu zvavo zvose watofunga kuti zani yadini yaparara. President ofona zvakamira sei kati ndomamira zvakaita takatodini katida sei manje mama tikati abvudzai baba nditaurira baba gadzirai polity bureau cabinet musarangarira zvimwe zvinhu gadzirai chi cabinet asi nangoda kuti muzive kuti 2008 results abuda vamutasa vakatiza.
As a country we face a generational transition. Vana vesa vari kuma below 35 they are crying out for help. The country is in a mess. Arusuru, we know we are inheriting a mess. We know this country has been left with nothing.
I'm assuring you that starting from tomorrow, you'll see a different nation from what you have seen or read on the news about these results and everything. Where we are going ahead there, the situation will be very different. What we said to our people, they could not see with their own eyes. We are going to act as we see it fit. We are prepared to go the whole distance.
As one of the operatives there admitted, they were prepared to go the whole distance. And they did. Many people were killed that year when they held the runoff. And they were not the first ones to die. Zanu PF, in its 44 years in power, has killed over 40,000 innocent Zimbabweans in pursuit of power. Mnangagwa has been at the heart of most of that action. In 2017, as we all know, he was at the heart of the military coup that ousted Robert Mugabe, so that he and his friends could get into power. The understanding between him and then the army general at the time, Constantino Chiwenga, who has become vice president, was that Mnangagwa will serve one term and then he will hand over power. As we know, he served his full term from 2018 to 2023. But before we got anywhere near 2023, he was already campaigning that he should be in power. And he was in power. And last year, as we know, he blatantly rigged those elections, albeit with the help of the corrupt, incompetent, and utterly useless MDC-CCC leaders. And he's managed to stay in power. And his first immediate goal was to be chairperson of SADC. It's just a rotational position. It's not as if he was elected. But as we heard him boss there, you'd think he won it by merit. And now he's exercising it. And indeed, he's using it as an excuse to get rid of his critics, or those who want to go to South Africa and then can now go, because he's now ruling the whole of SADC. And it's the way he says it, I think, speaks volumes of the kind of men we are talking about. Nunja Tunja. So all those who are leaving the country are Nunja Tunja, mischievous people. Yes, absolutely no time for them. Whereas in reality, most people have left the country. They've left as either economic refugees or political refugees, or both. Zimbabwe is in a serious mess. Millions of our people are living in abject poverty. But he doesn't see it. If he does, he doesn't care. All he wants is power. And he has enjoyed absolute power for the last 44 years. He is addicted to it. But I think it will be incomplete to talk of his addiction to power without also pointing out what has made it razor sharp. I believe what has made Mnangagwa's addiction to power razor sharp is fear. If he has two things, the number one is that if he was to lose power, he will lose some of the massive wealth that he has accumulated. That is his number one fear. How much wealth has he accumulated? Well, I can leave that one to one of his former colleagues to explain Mnangagwa's wealth.
Are you corrupt?
No, in fact, this is laughable. Seriously laughable. First of all, this is an accusation coming from the most corrupt politicians and public officials in the history of our country. They cannot account for the assets that they have. The richest individual in the Republic of Zimbabwe is Emmerson Mnangagwa. The one person who was responsible for setting up Zanu PF companies when he was the Secretary for Finance of the ruling party is Emmerson Mnangagwa. There is no cent that comes from those companies, including a bank, including investments in the region, in countries like Namibia and even South Africa. The person who led the plunder of resources, even in foreign countries such as the Democratic Republic of Congo, leading to the United Nations investigating and coming up with a report that is still there, is Emmerson Mnangagwa, along with the military cabal of General Chiwenga, SP Moyo, the person who brought the Chinese to plunder Chiadzwa diamond resources for Zimbabwe, up to a point where we have, at the very least, over a period from 2007 to 2014, some 12 to 15 billion dollars in diamond revenue that remains unaccounted for, that went into the pockets of individuals. These people have staged a coup, not just to grab power for the sake of grabbing power, but in order to cover up their corruption. That command agriculture was nothing but a looting scheme.
I totally agree with Professor Jonathan Moyo there. Mnangagwa and his friends have looted the country. They've robbed the country blind. And I think he fears that if he was to lose power, he may not be able to hang on to all that amassed wealth. But I believe his greatest fear, actually, is that if he was to lose power, he may have to account for the many skeletons in his cupboards, attic, basement, abandoned mine shafts, and so on and so forth. Mnangagwa has been behind most of the blood shedding of innocent Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe since independence in 1980. And in Shona, we have got a saying that Mosha Irovi. In some of those murders, he is scared that he may find himself being asked to account for those deaths and the suffering and torture of so many people. Yes, some of his Zanu PF colleagues will be implicated in it. But some of them, he feels, probably would let him carry the cane on his own. And this is one of the reasons why Mnangagwa giving up power is just not an option for him. In Shona, there is a saying that Mgota no piwa nyerere. But we also know that Kanazwaramba no chemera. In the case of Mnangagwa, when it comes to Bushe being president, here is an individual who has cheated, rigged elections, used all manner of intimidation and threats, rape, military coup, electoral coup, and has even killed to stay in power. So it is little wonder that he is absolutely addicted to power. Mnangagwa is fearful of one thing, losing power, because he has got so much loot to protect, but also so many secrets to protect. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.